Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech Life Weekly with the BizChicks. This is where we talk tech in easy to understand terms. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Miss Francine Gregory, real estate entrepreneur and tech diva. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and we are the BizChicks. We just want you to know that we're here because we want to serve you. So let us know how we can help. We are great with social media and with streaming. If you need help in those areas, just give us a call or a direct message and let us know. But today we're going to get started with Tech Life Weekly. And we always start off with Francine telling us, hey, what about tech history? And what do we have to look forward to in the future? So, Fran, what do you have for us today?
Oh, got a couple of little stories on tech that is making history, tech in history, and then tech making history. So I am going to start out. What's today's date? Today's the 19th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start out with April 15th, which would have been um, tax day and a couple of other things, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with April 14th. Start there.
Okay.
April 14th, 1912. Can anybody tell me what happened that day?
Was that the airplane thing? No.
Mm, mm-mm.
Mm.
Uh, so if you get the answer and you want to,
Maybe the first cable communication, underground cable communication for telephones? No?
no, you get one more
Telegraph?
try.
Hmm. Marconi and the radio. No.
Okay. So April 14th, 1912, the RMS Titanic strikes an iceberg
Oh my
4
gosh.
days into its maiden voyage. 4 days. Over 1,500 passengers drown when the ship sinks early the next morning. The Marconi wireless equipment on board is used to call for help, effectively saving 700 people.
Wow.
It was stated that those who have been saved through one man, Mr. Marconi, and his wonderful invention. So the Marconi wireless equipment that was on the ship um, saved.
Allowed them to send a mayday out. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
mm, mm. Wow.
Uh,
Okay, can we
um,
move to something a little less?
well, I mean, that was the tech that was
I know
used
the
on
tech
that.
helped save lives.
Yes. Um, um, April 14th, 1981, the first test flight for the first operational space shuttle to Columbia ends successfully as the orbiter lands at Edwards Air Force Base in California. Our next point in history, April 15, 1892,
Hmm.
the General Electric Company is founded. I had no idea it was 1892. It was formed by the merger of Edison General Electric, started by Thomas Edison in 1890, and the Thomas and Houston Electric Company. GE
Hmm.
was one of the original 12 companies listed on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and in 2010 was ranked by Forbes as the world's second largest company. I don't think they have that distinction right now, but that was April 15th, 1892. April 15th, 1977, the first annual West Coast Computer Fair is held over 3 days in San Francisco, California, attended by 12,700 people, 750 people. And the fair featured the debut of the Apple II computer, which
Wow.
features 16 kilobytes of memory, BASIC, a built-in keyboard, 8 expansion slots, and built-in high-resolution color graphics. Many
Wow.
credit this event and the launch of the Apple II as giving birth to the personal computer industry.
I love it.
Mhm.
What year was that?
77.
1977.
It doesn't seem that long ago. Now,
Mm-mm.
we get our stories. This is this day in tech history. Marcel Brown is the one who put this column together, and he started this blog post April 15th, 2002. He starts his
Mm.
first day as a full-time self-employed professional after years of helping people and small businesses with their tech needs on the side. It was from this humble beginning that a technology empire of unprecedented scale was created. That's what he said. He said, well, okay, maybe all of that's not quite true, but hopefully it will soon come to pass. But Marcel Brown, thank you so much for your tech history. He puts these little posts together. So now, April 16th, 1977, on the same day at the first annual West Coast Computer Fair, both Apple II and Commodore PET 2001 personal computers are introduced. Ironically, Commodore had previously rejected purchasing the Apple II from Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, deciding to build their own computers. Both computers use the same processor, the MOS 6502, but the companies had two different design strategies, and it showed on this day. Apple wanted to build computers with more features at a higher price point. Commodore wanted to sell less feature-filled computers at a lower price point.
Mm.
Apple II had color graphics and sound selling for $1,298. The Commodore PET only had a monochrome display and it was priced at $795. And with that in mind, the computer today is still 12, not the well, you might still be able to get a desktop version of the Mac for $1,200, but I know that the MacBook Air is like $1,200, $1,299.
Yes. Yeah.
So the prices haven't changed as the
Tech
tech,
has improved.
right? It hasn't changed, but still, people, I think I'd rather have more features for more money than less features for less money.
As you know, it really was a hard transition for me in my mind. But once I did transition from PC to Apple, I found it much easier to operate.
Yeah,
Much more user friendly.
so much more user friendly. I work with a company and they are PC based, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be an easier way to this destination. We don't need to go through all this, right? It's very it's almost like they built it for people who are engineers
Coders.
or something. I was going to say something else, but engineers, and it feels like they would get it because they would know what BIOS and blah blah blah. It's like the majority of people don't need. I don't need to know how it works in the background. I just need to push
Mm-mm.
a button. But that's not how that was.
Mm.
So, April 17th, 1967, the spacecraft Surveyor 3 is launched from Cape Kennedy, Florida. It is the second U.S. spacecraft to make a soft landing on the moon's Surveyor 2 on the moon. Surveyor 2 crash landed where it will study the lunar surface and send more than 6,300 pictures back to Earth. Now, we all got more pictures than that on our phones. 6,300 pictures back to Earth. In all, 7 surveyors will be sent to the moon, 5 of them successfully completing soft landings.
Mm.
April 18th, 1983, the Osborne Computer Corporation officially announced the Osborne Executive Portable Computer, the follow-up to its extremely successful Osborne 1. This is the computer. This is the computer that is going, according to lore, took down the company, known as the Osborne effect. The legend is that by leaking the announcement of this computer earlier in the year, dealers canceled all orders for the Osborne 1.
Yes.
So they brought out the new one before the old one was.
They announced that something better was coming. So why not hold out?
Right. Yes. And it says that this effectively destroyed the company's cash flow and hindered operations going forward. This resulted in the cancellation of the company's IPO and eventually to bankruptcy.
Mm.
So it was. So what are we learning from that? Don't talk about your new stuff
Until you've emptied out the inventory from the old stuff.
Mm.
And most people do that now. They have a sale before they announce the new stuff.
Mm-hmm. April 18th, 1986, newspapers report that IBM's Model 3090 mainframe has become the first commercial computer to use a megabit memory chip, 4 times the storage capacity of the then current generation of 256 kilobit chips. To give context to that amount of storage, it was reported that the megabit chip could store over 1 million bits of data, which translated to about 100 double-spaced type written pages.
Oh,
Wow. At the time, most personal computers were still using 64 kilobit memory chips.
Mm.
And IBM wanted to make the announcement for 2 big reasons. First, the use of higher density memory could allow them to make their mainframe computer smaller, which would save their customers cost and floor space. I think so. But perhaps more importantly, they wanted to show that American technology companies in general and IBM in specific could keep up with Japanese companies in the highly competitive semiconductor market of the time. Lower cost Japanese firms had captured 85% of the DRAM market, and Fujitsu, Hitachi, Mitsubishi, NEC, and Toshiba were set to begin shipping megabit memory of their own. IBM was attempting to shed their reputation as being slow and stodgy as compared to the upstart Japanese. They even made promotional buttons with the actual 1 megabit chip in it.
Okay.
So that's your week in tech history. And now I have some tech making history. We're going to be taking a look where it's dealing with mobility. Okay, so the Toyota Sienna, this is a lady of this comes from Tech Brew. They took a ride in the Sienna by Toyota, and it is a autonomous vehicle started by May Mobility. And they said when they drove in this car, they says the Sienna, owned by autonomous vehicle startup May Mobility, seemed to recognize that although the other vehicle had the right of way, its driver deferred to the minivan. After a moment, the May vehicle turned left in front of the stopped car. The move was received with enthusiasm from May Mobility CEO and founder Edwin Olson, who was the tour guide during this demo ride. They were able to change. We were able to change what we were going to do by running the simulations and learning what the right thing to do was. And we did that by running thousands of simulations right there to figure out all the permutations. So they're still trying to teach the autonomous vehicles how to behave like a human.
Yes, how to react to different scenarios.
Mhm. So the computer works hard during each trip, running thousands of simulations per second. And this is one of the main differences about their technology. We don't tell the car what to do. We give it all the best strategies that we can offline, and then allow it to learn what's actually best for the situation as it's driving around.
Hmm.
The
Interesting.
company was founded in 2017, and the backers include Toyota, BMW, and BMW, and they have completed more than 13,000 rides in Ann Arbor. Its customers are not individuals, but businesses and local government. It has contracts with numerous other municipalities, including Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and Arlington, Texas, where it provides microtransit services aimed at bolstering the reliability of public transit. Um, the startup also started offering driverless rides in Sun City, Phoenix earlier this
Mhm.
year, and has a fleet of 35 vehicles, which it plans to grow. Its mission is to outcompete personal car ownership by providing more reliable, accessible, and efficient public transit that users can hail on demand.
Oh,
Mhm. They are competing in this segment because its executive sees better revenue opportunity compared to other applications like robo-taxis. The goal of most cities is, can we provide the transit? We just want the transit to get delivered, which is a great situation for the company because it makes public transit one of the highest revenue opportunities in all the AV go to market spaces. Um, and it's another part is its accessibility. It gives the municipalities the option to include as many wheelchair accessible vehicles in their fleet as they want. Users can select those vehicles when requesting a ride. And they say they could be the first AV company to reach profitability with a current target of around 2027. Let me see if
oh,
there's anything else in here. They want to make public transit so good that people who can afford cars and people who can't afford cars choose to use public transit anyway.
I
And
love it.
right, that's going to make it's going to make cities safer and more accessible. So you don't have to necessarily drive yourself, right? But you can get a ride, and it's automated. You don't have a driver.
And here's the other thing, Fran. People don't, um, cities and municipalities don't have to lay track. They don't have, build infrastructure for it. The roads
Nope.
are already here. Um, we did see the one car that had a strip going down the road so it would charge as it went,
Mm-hmm.
but that they don't have to build the whole road. You know what I'm saying? Or lay
Mm-hmm.
track for that. So I
That
think that's another savings
right.
that they could use to subsidize the rides to
Right.
make public transportation better and more accessible. Because right now, I don't know if you're aware of it, we give people who are disabled subsidized rides. They used to do it through taxi services, and you got so many tokens so that you could go back and forth to the doctor. Well, just think
Mm-hmm.
if we could just dispatch these cars, had a fleet of these, cars, and the person has an account, just like they would for Uber or Lyft, and they could use this public transportation.
You are correct. It, it's a win. Um, I think it's really good. Okay, one more story in tech making history. Net neutrality is poised to make a comeback. For
Mm-hmm.
anyone who's been online over the last decade, the term probably sounds familiar, even if it might prompt you to scratch your head and say, huh, what does that mean again? Ahead of an April 25th federal communications meeting, where the agency is expected to vote along party lines to reinstate the Obama era web browsing protections. So Tech Brew, who presented this story, they asked questions, and this is what they were told. So, what is net neutrality? Net neutrality is a broad term for a collection of policies that mandate internet services that mandate internet service providers cannot meaningfully interfere with the way the web traffic is transmitted, including
Mm-hmm.
speeding up, slowing down, or explicitly granting paid access to websites or pieces of content. One of the core principles of net neutrality is really focused on treating all internet traffic equally. And this is Dan Hayes, a PwC partner specializing in tech and telecom, said. That term was coined back in 2003 when Tim Wu, a Columbia University professor, noted that the ISPs could manipulate the way they carried content to potentially extract more money from users. In the past, companies like Netflix have paid ISPs extra to send bandwidth extensive videos across the internet. One of the original drivers of net neutrality was that network providers were attempting to extract rents from providers of content,
Mm-hmm.
Hayes said, noting that end customers had already paid to receive a service. It's like charging you to drive on a toll road, but then charging the vehicle manufacturer to allow their brand of car on the road as well.
Wow.
Right. So although standalone mobile networks haven't typically been included in the regime, advocates have pointed out to other instances of behavior, such as AT&T blocking Apple's FaceTime for some iPhone users,
Hmm.
some ISPs excluding specific content providers from customer data caps under so-called zero rating arrangements. So it's like, wow. And then like Verizon slowing a California fire department's wireless data speed while it battled a wildfire.
Hmm. Interesting.
So you're going to slow
Because
down the speed in the middle of the fire.
and I did notice that my daughter got a new iPhone, and it will not allow us to FaceTime with one another, which I thought was interesting. So maybe we'll call about that and see what's really going on.
Yeah, we need to check that. It might just be something wiggy with the, yeah. So how did we get here? The FCC ushered in the first set of net neutrality rules in 2010, and it's been a
Mm-hmm.
ping pong match since then, with the rules being overturned, reinstated, and overturned again, most recently in 2017. Now that the FCC has a Democratic majority following over 2 years of partisan gridlock, FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel has once more moved to reinstate the rules, this time with a focus on public safety and the need for better broadband oversight. So what
Mm-hmm.
did change? The best effect of the expected rule change is that the FCC would reclaim authority as the primary regulator of internet providers. This would happen by reapplying Title II of the Communications Act to broadband companies, essentially treating them as common carriers with baseline responsibilities that the FCC can enforce. So right now, they can't do that, apparently.
They can't throttle the
No, what I mean, the FCC does not have
authority.
authority right now. There, and
Hmm.
so what this is, they are trying to get the FC to reclaim authority as the primary regulator of internet providers. I'm like, okay, do we want that to happen? I'm not sure.
Well, go ahead.
Gigi Son, a policy expert and former FCC advisor, said, I actually welcome the shift from focusing on net neutrality principles to focusing on the oversight. So there's a law in the place for the net neutrality, but the FCC wants to have the oversight.
Mm-hmm.
So not necessarily net neutrality, but the oversight. And I'm like, oh, do we really want that? I don't know. According to an FCC fact sheet, this means the agency would have more power to investigate things like network outages and that data throttling incident involving the firefighters. The rules would also update the definition of mobile providers and assert the agency's authority to oversee them, according to the FCC. It gives them the tools in their toolbox, and if they want to exercise their regulatory authority, and
It gives
including
them
in
the
response to
tools,
data.
but do we have the expertise? Do we have
Okay, there's
enough?
a thought.
Do we have enough people with expertise to regulate something that large? And are we willing to train them and keep them up to date?
That part, because with the net neutrality being in there right now, it's preventing stuff from happening. But if it goes into oversight, I don't know. I'm with you.
How long will it take them to figure it out? You got four regulators for what? Trillions and trillions and trillions of bits of data. What?
And I don't know how they're going to do that. So it says here, will this, the question was asked, will this affect my broadband bill? The short answer is that rule change could, in theory, drive up prices, but in practice, consumers probably won't see net neutrality related cost increases anytime soon, which means the government still hasn't figured out how to work it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Net neutrality, and then all of a sudden, when they figure it out, then the prices might go up. But net neutrality will limit the ability of network operators to pass costs along to the providers of content. It might then squeeze the proverbial balloon and force those costs to be passed along to the end user, to the retail customer. However, he noted that the 2017 net neutrality rollback didn't cause consumer broadband prices to fluctuate. So it's unlikely we'll see any big wobbles this time around. And that's good news since the average American's internet bill is about $89 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And that is your week in tech history and tech making history. So about the broadband, what do you all think? I know, Terry, you just got through talking about it is, can we trust the government to oversee the internet companies?
Are they going to invest enough in their people? And you know what I'm talking about, TJ?
Yep.
The training, keeping them up to date.
Mm-hmm.
Give
Well,
them
see,
enough
that's
resources.
because they remember Obama put in a technology czar, guru, head of whatever you want to call it, because they never had a technology department, and that was disbanded. I think, I'm not sure where it is now. And you know what's going on now, where the vice president is dealing with AI, but that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the thing that Obama put in, that was way behind. If they got rid of it, they're even further behind. So then, and then we're going to talk about this, the TikTok ban, because that's being fast tracked again, and then they're tying it to different things, and it's a mess because there's no department. See, the government, our government, federal government, they need departments. Department of Treasury, Department of whatever. There's no Department of Technology. There's none.
And so everything is kind of,
it's ad hoc as we get to it. And you see what happens. They call Zuckerberg up and they blame him for the deaths of children, which that is not right. That is not cool. Don't do that. Because they don't have a governing body of technology. They don't have it. Most
Mhm.
private companies, corporations, they've had technology departments for years. Years, because they run on computers and network and they need technical people to do that. So private companies have done that for years. The government hasn't done that. Nobody's asking for it, but here we come with different people. Oh, my kid, this and this is happening and this is that. But that's because there's no oversight. There's no committee. There's no anything. So this is where it is. People are
I,
going to the government asking them to do things, and they're like,
we
I
can't.
don't know.
We
They
don't
We
don't
don't
have
have.
know
a
how.
governing body. Yeah. So like the EPA came about because I think it was in the 60s or the 70s. There was all this stuff going on with the super funds and cleaning up sites. It was a whole ecology thing going on.
Mhm.
So the EPA was born out of that. There was no EPA before the 60s.
Mm-mm.
And you're thinking, what? We need an environmental protection agency to look at. It came about because of all the companies that were dumping things into the wetlands and affecting the wildlife. So there was an outrage. So
Right.
if there's no outrage, it ain't happening.
And because the
Mhm.
companies would not police themselves.
Right.
Oh no.
They would not. And that's
And
where
they're
we are
pushing
with
back
the net
now. They push back,
neutrality.
yeah, and they push back and they try to claw everything back with the last administration. You know who that was. He put people in at the head of each department to claw things back for his friends. And so now the EPA is back at the jump start with all of the things that has happened in the last 50 something years. So these are things we have to ask for. If you don't make a stink at with the government, they're not gonna, they're just gonna keep, because these are people, these are regular people just doing their jobs. And they have to have a direction from on high. A paper has to come from some department head, and otherwise it's not going to get fixed. And these people, the workers, government workers, know that things are broken, but they don't have the power to fix it. It has to come from on high. So that's how it works. That's how it works.
And I got one more thing that I just thought about. Um, what was it? I got a update from Google where they updating their terms and services. I think this is pretty interesting to note. Where did I just? And I'm like,
You'd
I
be
got
surprised. I mean, people, while she's doing that, people, and when I say people, I say you, Americans. You think the government is on top of everything because you work in a corporation or a company that is on top of things. The government doesn't work like that. It's old, antiquated. Things are behind the times, and if you don't make a stink, call your congressperson, blah blah blah. What are you guys doing about tech? Oh, if you don't make a stink, they're not going to do it.
We're sitting over here shaming them. That's what we're doing. Like that's going to make a difference. Shaming
right.
people
Yeah,
is not going to make a difference.
it really is not. And I'm
Go,
looking for.
yeah, go sit in the corner. Here's your computer, but go sit in the corner. Yeah,
Yes.
that's not
So
going to get it fixed.
that is
I'm
like,
really,
go
I'm
ahead.
really concerned about this throttling thing because I don't think it's under control, and I think I
Well,
think
they
it's
told you when we signed up for stuff, they told us that they were going to throttle if it
they were
got
going to have
if there was
tears.
congestion, too much congestion, that they would. And but they told us up front. So
Hmm.
that's a little different than them you throttling. What they were talking about with the net neutrality thing is that if Netflix, they would charge Netflix a certain amount of money
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
to have faster speed,
Right.
which
A
means
different
that
highway.
Netflix
Yeah.
they would need to charge us more money because they had to pay
Pass on the
the
cost.
broadband
Right.
people more money. I was
Right. They were
like,
going to
that
do
is
like
so
they were going to do like a fast lane and a slow lane, and if you wanted to get in the fast lane, you had to pay more. All that kind of stuff.
right. And they were
Oh,
charging
sort of,
them.
Mhm.
like the commuter lane. Okay, I
Mhm.
get it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what it was going to be.
Oh, okay.
Hang
Wow,
on a second.
interesting.
I'm looking. Why don't I not see my phone?
And then you have to, is people are doing more things on the internet now than it was 20 years ago.
This is
The
true.
gaming, live streaming, all of
Well,
that is bandwidth.
everybody has one of these.
Right. So we're in
You
a
know.
different place. So they're trying to figure out how to make more money. And it's like, wow. It's just crazy to think. And it's like everything is hitting us at once. We got an election, we got this, we got that. It's a lot
All
for
of it.
people to deal with, but you got to deal with it. Like I said, you got to make us think. So I'm trying to find the article. It's not
Okay.
coming up. Here it is. They want to
Okay. So
charge extra for fast gaming under FCC internet rules.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
see, and that is not having a net neutral for everybody. So
Right. So they want to charge more for stuff like fast gaming. So carriers could charge consumers more for plans that speed up specific type of content. So they want a basic plan alongside more expensive tiers that boost certain online games, or a tier that boosts services like YouTube and TikTok. Basically, it's like, where are you going? I'm going to charge you more.
This
You
is
know.
interesting because I can see this spilling over into all of these online betting apps and so forth. So I get my bet in before you. My
Well,
odds
yeah,
are
because
better.
you pay a
This,
fee and it's all you can eat. But now they're getting greedy, saying, no, if you want lobster, you got to pay the special price. Market price. You know, when you go into the restaurant, it says MP, and people go, "What's that?" I'm like, they get to charge you whatever they want because it's lobster. Now you can eat the chicken. It says, it says whatever it is. That's chicken, but the lobster has MP next to it,
which makes sense.
That's what they're trying to do with the internet. So
it's kind of interesting. So here's their terms of service came out from Google, right? And normally I'm like, okay, they're just updating us on some stuff,
right?
But the terms of service from Google, and I like what they did. They said you can click here to go and read everything, but here's a summary of what's happening.
Because they know people are not going to read.
Right. So they put it out there. So you can review the new terms of service, the new Google terms of service here. At a glance, here's what the update covers. Generative AI terms. We are moving our existing generative AI additional terms to our main terms of service and adding other AI related clarifications. For example, we won't claim ownership over original content generated by our AI powered services. Next, more clarity on abusive activity. We're providing more examples and details about abuse and interference with our services that isn't allowed. Next, more details on limitations of liability. For users outside of the US, we're adding clarifications to our limitations of liability and indemnity sections to avoid any misunderstanding in light of local laws or customs. More clarity on disputes. We're clarifying that if you violate our terms, our remedies aren't limited to suspension or termination of your access to the services, but may include other remedies under applicable law, aka we might sue you. Okay. If problems or disputes arise between us about these terms, you'll have the opportunity to describe the issues and address them. Updates to reflect how our services work. We're adding language about how our services work and updating certain Google service brand names that have changed over time. And then they say for users based in the European Economic Area only, In addition to the changes described above, we're adding more exploratory text to help you understand the legal concept of guarantees under EU and local law. For more details, see this summary of key changes to the EEA versions of our term. In a nutshell, if you don't agree to the new terms, you should remove your content and stop using the services. You can also end your relationship with us at any time without penalty by closing your Google account. Thank you for using Google services. So that is some tech that's making history. They've updated their services, but they included AI in their terms of services. It's no longer out here. It's now inside their regular terms of service. TJ, I'm gonna let you. Yeah, you thoughts?
It's like I was saying earlier, things are just crazy. Just crazy. So
And they're protecting themselves. And I think that came from whatever is happening with Apple and Meta and whatever. And they're like, you know what, we're gonna cover our bases. We just
well, because you have to remember, Google, Alphabet is a corporation. Meta is they operate as companies. What does a company do? They need to make revenue to make the shareholders happy, and they need to protect themselves legally. That's it.
And I think they're doing that. They're like, let me tell you.
And
then they sent it to every one of my Gmail accounts.
They did their due diligence. That's what they're supposed to do. They have a team of lawyers that tell them what to do. And then the thing is, users cannot get mad and say blah, 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 because they've covered the bases.
I told you, every email account that you have, it popped up on every single one of them. We have new terms of service. I'm like, okay.
I don't know why people get upset. We live in I want to say corporate, not corporate, capital. It's capitalism. America was built on it. So
we also have I'm gonna let TJ go. I mean, not TJ, Terry, you do your stories. I'm on in 15 minutes. I gotta be on a call, but I'm gonna be jumping back in. So
okay.
All righty. Well, I'm gonna make this brief. I found a video about artificial intelligence and agriculture. And how it's being used in India, because India. Well, anyway, I'll let the articles speak for itself.
We'll talk.
Okay, so let me tee this up. Okay, and see, get this in order, and
is the food we buy off the shelf. Of course, it's all cultivated and grown on farms. And if we head to India, 50% of the workforce are employed in agriculture, and a growing population, now 1.4 billion, are dependent on the crops produced. But traditional methods are now making way for new technology that promises to make farms more efficient, productive and profitable thanks to artificial intelligence. Archana Shukla reports.
For generations, Indian farms have been sown and tilled only with traditional know-how. But some, like Nitin Patil, are trying out something different. With sensor devices on his vineyard that check weather and soil health and uses artificial intelligence to figure out when to water the crops, add fertilizer, and tackle pests. Nitin then receives a precise advisory on a mobile app.
This vineyard where we are now, it has no groundwater sources, and we are growing these wines with the water that we purchase from outside tankers. With the help of this AI data, we are now able to irrigate them only at the crucial stage, and that's helping us to save around 50% of the water that we used to give before.
Built in India's Silicon Valley, Bangalore by startup Fossil Agritech, the service has led to a near 25% boost in productivity on crops like grapes and guavas. Informed decision making is only one part of the solution to improve productivity, but weeding out inefficiencies in the existing age old agricultural practices is also crucial. AI powered robots offer a solution. This one is equipped with precision cameras that scan the ground in real time, programmed to avoid wasteful spraying.
The way spraying is done in India is on a acre level. And our mission is to boil that down into a plant level decision making. Just by spraying only on the plant, we are seeing a 56% savings.
Improved rural digital connectivity and government support for agri-tech startups has pushed farm innovations. But even now, just 2% cultivators use tech in farming.
We really need to enable the digital public infrastructure. And second is going to be public private partnerships. India will always be resource constrained. We possibly are perhaps lowest in the yield level. We possibly are pretty much constrained on finance and insurance services for the farmers. And that's where the gap needs to be filled up with AI.
Data driven agriculture promises profitability, but will need considerable time and investment to reach majority of India's farmers. Archana Shukla, BBC News, Bangalore.
Okay. I think you're muted.
I needed to stop sharing that.
No, like that thing that's the end screen popping up. You can't really close it.
Yeah,
So
I couldn't
whatever
control
the
that.
next video. So
Yeah.
yeah, we know all about what's going on 45.
So what I wanted to point out was that 50% of India's population is involved in agriculture.
A lot of
Only,
farmland.
only 2% of them are using AI. And they found a way to utilize spraying so that it only does individual plants versus, just all over.
Right. And that's AI's purpose, is to be specific about things. So we're going to see more and more. As I said, AI is going to be more and more ingrained into everything. And it's not perfect, but it's going to cut down. I think I use the example of the medical interns having to go look at books.
Yes.
When they have IBM has a computer that does it. So it's all about time, cutting out time. That's where AI's use is going to be it's going to be the best use of cutting out time.
So it's going to save time and materials.
Right. So that means it frees up the human person to do other things, other creative things. So, and I think we talked about last time about the abacus and the calculator and all. So
we did. Yes. So that's what I wanted to share, that because food can be a real concern around the globe. As the population increases, we see scarcity in many countries on other continents, as well as in the United States. There's quite a bit of food insecurity, but that's because we do a lot of waste. However, I digress. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out, that AI can be extremely helpful, because if you can reduce the cost of chemicals and different things that are used to help plants survive, the cost of water, because it's only spraying individual plants,
right,
that should reduce the cost of the commodity.
Yeah, that's going to hopefully reduce the cost. But then, there's a thing going on where inflation is just companies, companies that are just raising prices because they can. So a lot of that is there. Okay, I got to take this. Okay. I got a message from my daughter. Hold on, let me see.
Okay, well, we know those are our priorities, guys.
Right, I'm just going to.
Okay. So while she's doing that, so I think one of the things that I like about AI is that it is helpful, and I always look for articles, not always, but I like to look for articles where AI is being used in medicine and AI is being used to um, help with agriculture technology. So he was saying on the video that they're looking to forge private um, public partnerships. I always get concerned about that because it seems that when we have these private public partnerships, the private side tends to benefit more than the public. However, if we can get private industry to invest and move this forward quickly, hopefully it will increase the supply of food and make it much more economical to serve those who have food insecurity around the globe. Now, I'm going to run this little quick article while okay, while TJ's on the phone. Okay, I'm going to go here and I'm going to share this little video. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this going and get this up. And hopefully, hold on, let me finish the ad. And then we'll, because we don't want to promote necessarily promote Disneyland, but we it's the price of using the technology. So let's see.
Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, and Facebook. The company calls it the most intelligent AI assistant.
Oh, hold on.
The magic
I'll
never
start
leaves
over
you
now.
when you stay with the
I
Disney Resorts
apologize for
Collection.
that.
It's up
Let
early,
me
giving you
silence it
extra
as we're
time in
waiting.
any of the 4 theme parks every day.
We've got about 12 seconds, but you can see what's going on at Disneyland while we're waiting. Here we go.
Meta's update to its AI assistant. The new smart software is now available on Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, and Facebook. The company calls it the most intelligent AI assistant you can use for free. Next, Samsung is offering a new mid-range smartphone in the US. The Galaxy A35 comes in 2 colors, blue and lilac. It features a high-definition display and software to adjust the screen's tone depending on light conditions. The A35 starts at $400. Finally, Apple has updated its iOS 17 to help make your hotel stay more comfortable with new features to let you use AirPlay to stream movies from an Apple device directly to your room's smart TV. For now, it's only available at select IHG hotels, but Apple says more will be added soon. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
So I just wanted to throw that in while we were waiting, TJ.
Okay, that's fine.
But now I want to yield to you so we can talk about social media strategies and what's going on around the world of social media.
Okay, so the social media updates for this week. I was looking at there's a new app called Ghost GHOST, and I was trying. I forgot to download it and look, but I don't see it, so I'm not sure if this is it. There's one that says Ghost drops in content, but I don't see it in the app store. Let me just go into the story. All right, so this week's social media updates. Like I said, there's a new app called Ghost GHOST. It's an open source Substack rival, and it's an alternative to Substack. Substack is the app that you do newsletters on. So, and it has to do, with the Fediverse, which we were talking about. So let me see what this, because I'm using a new note app.
Okay.
So let me see. All right, so Ghost is founded by somebody named John O'Nolan and is structured as a nonprofit. I'm not sure why that's important in the story, but they're going to connect Ghost over ActivityPub, which is the social networking protocol that they use in the Fediverse, and I think we talked about Meta doing threads that way and everything, Mastodon and stuff like that. So I have not found the app. I don't know if the one that I saw in the store is there, but this is a new open source Substack rival. So it works like Substack. So if I can find it, I will definitely use it and see if we can talk about it next time.
Okay.
Now, another new app is called AirChat. AirChat is a new social media app that encourages users to just talk. And AirChat is a combination of Twitter and Clubhouse. Instead of typing a post, you speak it. The app quickly transcribes what you say, and as your followers scroll through their feed, they hear your voice all alongside the transcription. This is built by Angel List founder Naval Ravikant. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
Okay.
Former Tinder exec Brian Norgard. AirChat takes a refreshingly intimate approach to social media. That is what they're saying that this AirChat is. So it sounds like you type in text and then it translated into audio, and people that follow you can read it and also hear it. So I'm not sure if this is a good idea, because if they're talking about Clubhouse is pretty much nobody talks about it anymore.
It got too complicated. I couldn't.
Yeah, and then it was because we were in lockdown and people could talk, and so we're not in that space anymore. So a lot of apps have fallen by the wayside. So I think Clubhouse is one of those. Some people I follow on Instagram still use it, but it's not being talked about. So they're saying that AirChat, you can it'll be pretty familiar. It has the ability to follow other users, scroll through a feed or post, then reply to, like, and share these posts. The difference is that the posts and replies are audio recordings, which the app then transcribes. When you open AirChat, messages automatically start playing, and you quickly cycle through them by swiping up and down. You can pause the audio and just read the text. Users can also share photos and video. So this app is focusing on the audio part of it. And so again, we'll see what happens. This is AirChat, AirChat, AirChat. So those are the two new apps that they had stories about. All right, let's move to Snapchat. Snap plans to add watermarks to images created with the AI tools that it has. So the watermark will be a translucent version of the Snap logo with the sparkle emoji, and it will be added to any AI generated images.
That sounds cute.
Oh no, I thought I heard somebody talking. I was like, what? Oh,
that might have been Fran.
Oh, okay. So it's going to add a watermark to any AI generated image exported from the app or saved to the camera roll. So you can use the AI tools in Snapchat to make an image, but it will have a watermark. And Meta's doing this, and all of the other companies will social media platforms will be doing this, because there is a call for, and we talked about it last week or the week before, that people are getting fooled by the AI images. So they have to they're doing self-identifying, but now the social media companies are saying, we're just going to put a watermark on stuff and you can't remove it. All right, so this watermark, Snapchat says removing the watermark from the image will violate the terms of use. They're saying it's unclear how Snap will detect the removal of the watermarks. And again, Microsoft, Meta, Google, they're all taking steps to identify images created with AI powered tools. Now, some of the other generative AI image tools like Midjourney and other things, because you pay, there's no watermark. So if you sign up for Midjourney, you have to pay. It's like $9-10 a month or whatever.
Yes.
I think Copilot doesn't put a watermark, but they might.
Eventually, yeah.
We don't know. But if you pay for a service, you're not going to get the watermark.
So if I'm using Canva and I'm paying for that service,
right,
then the watermark will not.
That's the only way you get to make AI images in Canva. You have to have Canva Pro. Canva Free does not let you. I think they give you like 5. You get a number and then they stop.
Yeah, they limit you.
Right, they limit you. So if you're paying, then you do whatever you want with it. So they're saying currently Snap allows paying subscribers to create or edit AI generated images using Snap AI. They also have a selfie focused feature called Dreams. Let users use AI to spice up their pictures. So AI is like we said before, AI is a thing that's going to be everywhere, but it's going to be labeled. You're not going to get fooled.
And it's a common thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so the next thing for Meta, oh sorry, something in my eye. Meta, more AI. Is everything's gonna be AI focused from here on out, and it's gonna be integrated in the app. So Meta is helping Instagram influencers create an AI bot version of themselves.
Say that again. They're
Meta
helping.
is going to allow Instagram influencers to create their
Oh,
own AI bot version of themselves.
okay.
Now, I think last year Meta had a celebrity bot thing where you could talk to Snoop Dogg or whatever, like famous celebrities. So
Uh-huh.
now they're taking that and allowing Instagram influencers to create an AI bot version of themselves, because the person the person following you can talk to you, the AI you. So with
Gotcha.
celebrities, now it's influencers. So here's the
Interesting.
quote. So they say in the program, which is in its early stages of testing and known as Creator AI, would allow influencers to chat with fans through direct messages on the social network and potentially through Instagram comments in the future. The program will essentially be a chat bot that mimics the voice of the Instagram influencer to respond to fans. So think of an influencer. I don't know any Instagram influencers, but I would say Mr. Beast. Like Mr. Beast on YouTube has like 200 million people or whatever.
Okay.
So think about, if you've got that many followers, think about the direct messages and comments that you're getting, and you can't respond to
Can't
all
keep
of them
up.
because you're human. You got to sleep, you got to whatever. So you make this AI bot version of yourself that responds while you're sleeping.
Wow.
So I see where this is going. I love this idea
Do people
for
really
business.
want to talk to a bot? I guess so.
Well, you're not going to know. I mean, it's going to respond. We have that now on Instagram. People are doing that now on Instagram. It's just not talking.
Okay.
People have their posts on Instagram that say, "Oh, you want my guide? Comment book," and you type in book,
Yeah.
and the bot goes to your DMs and talks to you and sends you the link to the book. They're already doing it. This is a level of making the AI look like the person. That's all it is.
I was just thinking how the conversation, what's the conversation like? You know what I
Well,
mean?
what I'm saying is people are doing it now without the
Yeah.
visual. They're just adding a visual on top of it.
Okay.
DMs are bot now. They're just not a person. They're putting a visual on it.
Gotcha.
So they're saying anyone be able to create their own custom AI chatbot, which would be able to talk about things that they're interested in. Meta is going to train these bots on the creators' Instagram posts, DM comments, and audio from reels and stories in order to get their voice right. So see, this is just the visual part of it. There's bot stuff already going on. It's just text. This will have a face on it, like the ones from last year that had was Snoop. It was a bunch of celebrities, Snoop Dogg and all that, and you could have a conversation with them, and it would be visually them.
Oh, okay.
Facebook user says, "Wow, I think that might be Fred." Not sure, or whoever that is, because we can't see like your name and your face. It just says Facebook user. So if you want to identify yourself, that would be great. If not, it's fine. We'll just call you Facebook user. Another one for Meta. Meta has more AI. Meta added this AI chatbot to the search bar in its apps. So that means that the chatbot, which is based on their large language model called Llama 3, is in the search bar of the four major apps: Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So what it is it just means that in the search bar, there'll be AI chatbots in there. So when you go to, and I tried to look today, I didn't see mine. Maybe I got an update. But if you go to Facebook and you just tap the icon that looks like a magnifying glass, that's your search. Oh, it's here now. Okay, it wasn't here before. So now it says Ask Meta AI It gives me suggestions for search. It also popped up, said you with a little disclaimer saying, if you use it, blah blah blah. So it's so here's some of the suggestions. Google AI for education, world longest road, Paul McCartney music, how to curate playlists, imagine a fashion runway, buy from a black woman campaign, smart home device Rex. I guess that's recommendations. Entertainment news, 5 tips to mood board, play history. So it gives you suggestions. So if I type in I'll do play history trivia. I'll hit that button.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So it says, let's play history trivia. Sounds like fun. I'd be happy to play a game of history trivia with you. Do you have a specific time frame? I wish I had my phone hooked up so we could show you this. Oh, I do. Wait. It's not just on your phone. It is a website called Meta AI. I had it up here to show you. It's called
Okay.
meta.ai, and I'll just do a screenshot. Oh, a
Mm-hmm.
screen share. It's meta.ai.
Okay.
Let me see if I can
Oh,
make it.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let me make it a little bigger. So, and that's it. You go to meta.ai,
Mm-hmm.
just like you go to Chat GTP or whatever else, Claude, whatever you use. And this is their tool.
I
So
like the way they did these icons. They're very clear. Create
mhm,
a packaging list for a trip. Make my email sound more professional,
mhm,
right?
mhm. So
Um,
if I come here, there's a box that says ask anything. So just like you do ChatGPT and Copilot, you type in whatever you want. I'm going to click on the one that says make my email sound more professional so we can see what happens. So see
okay.
what it did. Make my email sound more professional. I'll be happy to
Mm-hmm.
hear to help. Please go ahead and share the email. So you paste in whatever you typed and it will
Mm-hmm.
fix it for you.
I love it.
So this is basically Chat GPT, Copilot, Claude, what's the Google one? So Meta has one now. That's all it is. So it's in here. Let me stop sharing. So it's in the app. When you go
Mm-hmm.
to the search features there, or you could pull up meta.ai on your desktop, and there it is. So that
Gotcha.
is this is their AI tool, just like ChatGPT. So they're saying that this first rolled out in the U.S. last year. They were testing it in other countries. It's available here. Here's the quote: "We continue to learn from our user tests in India, as we do with many of our AI products and features. We test them publicly in varying phases and in a limited capacity." So they're also doing making the image generation faster. So I guess that's what people were saying, like the process when you type in the prompt, how do they make the image? Well, they make it faster. So these are all the AI things that are happening. There's much more. There's much, much more. Okay.
I
Let's
like
see what else
this.
we have. So that's Meta. I'm gonna save TikTok for last.
Okay.
Oh, that is that. Okay, so we can move on to TikTok. Not much new, not much update news today. So TikTok is started testing its Instagram competitor TikTok Notes in Canada and Australia. So they're making a separate app called TikTok Notes, which is going to be like Instagram. They're saying it's available in the Google Play Store and Apple App Store in Canada and Australia. So if you live there, you're lucky. Go and test it out. They said Meta says not Meta. TikTok says that this is in the early stage of the app's rollout and that the app is a dedicated space for photo and text content. TikTok Notes is a basic photo sharing app with images and their descriptions, as you can already find on TikTok, but gathered into their own space. That's from the article. So they're saying that is you could do these things in TikTok now, but TikTok is mostly short form video focused, so they're trying to move it out and then compete with Instagram. Here's their quote: "We hope that the TikTok community will use TikTok Notes to continue sharing their moments through photo posts, whether documenting adventures, expressing creativity, or simply sharing snapshots of one day. The TikTok Notes experience is designed for those who would like to share and engage through photo content. Because they're saying the app layout looks like Pinterest and it looks like Lemon 8. Lemon 8 is one of the other apps that came out last year or the year before, whenever 45 was talking about banning TikTok. So Lemon 8 came out and Clapper came out. So they're saying it looks like Pinterest and Lemon 8. In terms of posting, you can add up to 34 images to a single post, with the pictures presented as a slide scrolling carousel-like collection. You also have a 4,000 character caption limit along with a title selection. So it sounds like this TikTok Notes, they're going to do it for like micro blogging, mini blogging, because 4,000 characters is a lot. I believe Instagram is 2,000 characters when you post a photo. So they're allowing a lot of
This might not be a bad thing, Terry, because remember what you call them got out of the short video game too early, and then
yeah, Vine.
Yeah, and then ByteDance came in, and now we got TikTok.
Yeah, Vine should have stayed where they should have stayed in
They
it, but
were
they
in a
didn't.
good position. They were first.
I'm gonna look at TikTok Notes, and again, we talked about TikTok. There's a story I got here about the ban, but like I said last week, like we suggest you use it on a non a burner phone or a throwaway phone or old phone that you have that you don't really do your financial stuff on it. And then again, I was talking to somebody and they were like, well, they've already got your data. How old is TikTok? TikTok is 3-4 years old. They already got our data.
And we don't even know it, because
Right.
they tell us 2 years later, well, we had a breach 2
Yeah.
years ago.
But
2 years ago.
we've been saying since this we started talking about a ban that you should use it on a separate phone. I think I have an older Android phone, this phone, and I use it on this phone. This is I call this the TikTok phone. I don't do anything else on it but TikTok. I don't do financial stuff. I don't look at my bank. I don't go to whatever and type in my, I don't do that. I have my other phone, and that phone doesn't have TikTok on it. So,
gotcha.
But again, we say this is what you need to do. It's a suggestion. If you want to use TikTok, go right ahead. Free world. But getting into that, there's one more story, the last story about TikTok and the ban. Now, where we left this was that this proposal to ban, well, they say ban. It's a proposal to divest from China. It's a divestiture. It's not a ban. So the government is saying, our government is saying, you have a certain amount of time and China has to sell. Okay. So that proposal passed the House, and then that was everybody went crazy. Oh, so now it's in the Senate. And it's been there for a while. And I said that the Senate was going to slow walk it, and they did. So I think it's been like a month or a little over a month. So now there's a proposal for the Senate to get going on it right away. And they're going to tie this to the Ukraine bill, the Ukraine and the Israel funding bill. They're putting this thing in there. So, I think the Speaker of the House is telling the Senate to get going on it, like next week. Like start voting next week. So that's where we are. So they're saying, so here we go. So here it is. Republican Speaker Mike Johnson said the House would vote on 3 funding bills for Israel, UK, and Taiwan. They're throwing Taiwan in there too.
Taiwan because
yeah. So they're saying that they want to bundle into one package, send it to the Senate. That would significantly boost the odds that the Senate passes the measure, since many senators will be reluctant to get rid of military funding for Ukraine. Now, if they do that and it passes in the Senate, TikTok still has a year to map out a divestment plan and organize a new deal with a U.S. owner for the app. Okay? Now, it's a fly in the ointment. Chinese government said they're not selling.
Correct.
They're still saying that we're not selling. And I said that from the beginning, China would never sell. They're not going to sell. They don't have to. So where we're going now is that they're tying this to the military funding bill, and it's going to the Senate next week. So this is what's happening, and it's not a ban; it is divestiture. They want ByteDance to be to sell from China to a U.S. owned company. That's what it is. So it's not a ban. Also, I believe TikTok will still be in effect. Like during all of this thing, if it passes next week and they give them a year, TikTok won't be inoperable. You'll still use it. It's just in the background. Ownership will change. You can still live in the house.
This is just so interesting because the question is, this is not a slippery slope. So will China say, okay, we want y'all to divest?
Well,
Because
that's happened. I believe today they told Apple to ban WhatsApp and something else in China. So it's happening
this is such
where
a
the other
slippery
side is
slope.
saying, okay, well, you want to ban this one, we're banning. Okay,
Exactly.
fine. Guess what? China has its own apps. They have their own apps. They was it Tencent and something else where they do shopping, and there's like billions of people on it. They don't use cash, they use apps for money. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So this is where we are. It's not going to be banned. It's just going to be you can live in the house while we sell it. That's basically what it is. So all the rigmarole last month of people screaming and hollering about their
protesting.
livelihood,
Mm-hmm.
and my business, and well, you can still live in the house. You can still live in the house. So now here's the flying. Like I said, the flying ointment is China is not. They're saying we're not selling. So where does this leave you or us? Like I said, use it. Have a separate phone for it.
Mm-hmm.
Isolated from all your other daily financial things. But here's the deal. They already got your data when you signed up. If you signed up 2 years ago, they got you. So what do? We roll on merrily. I don't know. Like I said, I have it on a phone that I don't do. I only watch YouTube on this phone and then TikTok. So you guys do what you need to do, but that's what's happening. China has to agree to it, and they're not going to agree to it. So I think they call
because
that.
I feel like my data is so much secure with the U.S. company.
It is. I mean, that's one of the Well, see, that's one of the arguments. Seriously, that's one of the arguments. Oh, Meta does it too, but Meta is a company that the government can hold their feet to the fire, and they have twice, 3, 4 times. They call Zuckerberg all the time. Come to the front of the class, young man. The principal wants to talk to you. They do it all the time. Now, can you do that with TikTok? Can you say, hey, China, come on over here and stand in front of the class and let the principal berate you? And China's like, no.
Well, they showed up once or twice.
So here we go. I mean, okay, now the CEO of TikTok showed up, but that's because he's in Singapore. That's the Singapore part.
Oh, okay.
And he was trying, he's trying to do some goodwill. But China's like, we ain't got to do nothing. We don't have to do what you say. So this is where we are. So I feel like this is my prediction, is a stalemate. It's a stalemate. It's going to stay exactly what it is now. People will use it. The government will, give up. Our government will give up because China won't sell. See, we're going to get to the end of the road on this legally over here and say you have a year, and then at the end of the year, China's going to be like, we're not selling. They're not even going to say to the end of they're saying it today. And they're not selling. So what pushes them to sell? What? Nothing.
But I have a question. If they already have your data, even if they sell, can't they just roll you over into a different app?
Well, what different app?
And I mean, they could create a new app and just
China?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
And just take all the users and say, hey guys, here's an email, click this email. And
if they make a better TikTok, yes, that will happen. If they make something that's greater than TikTok and Gen Alpha loves it, it's a done deal.
It's just like whack-a-mole. You know what I mean? If you want to play that game.
That's why my suggestion I've been saying for the longest is to get a phone that does not connect to anything but
Mhm.
TikTok. And I'm not saying go out and get $1,000, get a cheapy phone, a used phone, an old phone.
Mhm.
You're just going to and I'm saying as the business owner, you're just going there to upload videos. You don't really have to do any kind of engagement on TikTok to get engagement.
Mhm.
That's the thing that everybody loves about TikTok is that you don't have to engage. Like on Instagram, you have to engage. Before I post today, I gotta go and visit these I gotta look at my feed and I gotta like stuff and I gotta make 5 comments and then I can post. Who wants that? Whereas TikTok, as a business owner, I could just go, oh, I can make a little, whatever the link,
Mhm.
type in, put the hashtag, and go about I don't even have to look at kids dancing, whatever's going on TikTok. That's crazy. I don't have to be a part of that. That's why they love it so much. That's why business owners love TikTok so much because they get the engagement without the rigmarole of okay,
Without
I
the
gotta post and I gotta
without
do.
require a bunch of
I
requirements.
gotta prime it before I post. I gotta tell Instagram signal that I'm here. And then after I post, I have to look at 10 more posts. I have to like 5 more things, and then I can put it down. Who's got time for that?
I didn't realize it was all that. Mm.
So this is one of the things, and I was going to talk about it this week about Instagram this week, but we had a encore. So I'm going to talk about this on Tuesday, where we're going to talk about that process of is the follow dead. That's what I called it. Is follow dead. Follow. Because it goes into people crying and they're crying about Instagram doesn't show my reel, my post,
My
my
followers.
this to all my followers.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying follow is dead.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
of the algorithm. The algorithm changes all the time. Algorithm is just a set of rules that Instagram sets on how it serves content. All of the social media platforms have an algorithm, a set of rules that say how they show content to people, and it doesn't include all of your followers because followers dead. So that's a little preview Tuesday. So if you want to talk about that, that's what we're talking about on Tuesday. I plan on we're gonna get into
We're
it.
gonna get into it. Okay.
We're gonna get into it because I see the conversations online.
And people's frustration.
I see the CEO, and this is what I love about the CEO of Instagram. He's on there like responding to people. Like people will be angry and tag him, and he'll respond to not everybody, but most of them. And then he'll say, "Oh, because of," and I'm like, "Keep talking, dude, because you're letting us know what Instagram is thinking. That they're behind a wall. You don't know what Instagram is thinking." But when the CEO talks, I'm like, okay, we get a little insight, we get a little taste of, okay, all right, okay. So that's what I love about it. So because everybody's hooked on the number.
Yes.
Like, who has a lot of Instagram followers? Somebody like Taylor Swift, but she got bot followers. So what does that matter if you're a business selling things that you have bot followers? Let me see. How many does she have? She has 283 million followers.
Wow.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And that's it. I don't have any more.
Okay. Okay, guys. We just want to thank you for your time. Oh my goodness. TJ, just the whole thing of she's got that many followers just sort of blew me away. But we just want to thank everyone for their time. TJ, that was really informative. I like it when we go through each one of these little apps. And also that blurb about Meta AI having a website. I
Mhm.
found that very informative too.
Yeah,
Because
well,
so
Meta's
much,
been working. They've been working on their AI tool for a while, and now they put out the website, so you don't have to be a Facebook user. Is
but
really
it
what it
actually looks
is.
like
Mhm.
it's user friendly. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
It doesn't look confusing because
Mhm.
a lot of times when Meta does stuff, I'm just like, you know what? I can't.
Right.
I
Right.
just I don't have time. You
So
know what I'm
now,
saying?
so they made. So what I'm surprised is that they separated it from Facebook, because usually they try to get you to use Facebook and Instagram, but now they separated it in its own separate website, which I'm going to start using that too, because I use the Copilot, I
Mm-hmm.
use the Claude, definitely ChatGPT. What's the other? I don't use the Google tools. I don't like them, but Perplexity is one.
Okay.
Pi is another. That Pi is good as an app. It talks to you like it's like it's talking, so it's not just you typing in. So Pi is another one. There's a bunch of tools, so you have to use the one that you're comfortable with.
There you go. Wow. It looks like we got Dr. Tachi in the house. Just in time, Doc. How you doing?
Hello.
Oh, I'm fine. Just coming off of a shoot.
I am so
Oh,
glad
okay.
to talk to you today.
Yeah, we were talking about Meta. Meta has a new website, Meta.ai, which is their competition for Chat GPT, Chat and the Copilot and stuff. So we were just talking about it. Terlene was saying how visually, well, here, I'll bring it back up.
Yeah.
That it looks good visually. And it's just Meta.ai.
And I don't know if you noticed, but if you happen to be on Instagram, which you probably did, Terry or TJ, if you're on Instagram, the Meta AI pops up in the search. So
Right.
so
Yeah,
they
that's what I said.
switched the entire system to that.
Yeah. So this is the separate web. Like you don't have to be signed into Facebook or anything, but if you want to save your conversations, you do have to log in. And yeah, I did start it out with it's in the search feature, and I think we did a demo. When you go to search, it has the little bubbles. I don't think it's desktop. I think it's mobile. Yeah. So when you go the magnifying glass, it has Ask Meta AI, and it's all little bubbles of suggestions of things you want to search for.
I don't
But
want to ask
what the
you.
thing that I love is that it's they took it out of Facebook, the
Yeah.
Meta.ai.
That's smart.
It's very
So
smart. Because there is also this whole trust issue that Meta has. And if you, even though it's still Meta, for some reason, I think people will feel like if it's not inside Facebook or Instagram, that it's somehow different.
Yes. So that's
Well,
why I was really excited about the website, because it puts them on a level of Copilot, Claude, the what is it?
Gemini.
Hard.
Gemini. Yes,
Gemini.
it's Gemini. Pi, Perplexity, there's a whole bunch of them that are standalone. And then remember that Chat GPT, you can use it for free. You don't have to sign up, because before you had to sign up with an email to use the free one. Now it's just you go to it and use it. So Meta's coming in on that level with the website.
I think we all need to be looking at stocks that involve AI in any way, shape, or form. This is not financial advice, but I don't know. I think it would behoove us, because it's not just the AI technology itself. I was listening to Dr. Vibe this morning, and he was talking about a story he read where, this generative AI takes a lot of power to run. In fact, I think they gave like several more. Google has ordered several more servers and all of this type of thing. So it takes energy. And so anything that is connected with the use of AI affiliated things, those are probably things to look at and consider.
Yeah.
You heard it here. Thank you, TJ.
You're welcome.
I think we are going to move into what's going on in media, Doc.
Oh, I for real did just come just in time, huh? Well, how are you all? I just started
We're
talking.
good. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Just trying to float, just trying to be
I can imagine.
and exist. Yeah, but I'm good, and I do have a few stories, and it's interesting. So this week, I'll talk about what Mediascope is coming back next week, and
Mm-hmm.
so. Yeah, and I have to because now I have a guest, so I can't just keep putting it off. So I have to get done what I need to get done so that it can exist. So I will be continuing to talk about what I talk about on Mediascope, but I also have Pop Gumbo, which is for TKBS. And this week I talked about the fact that there is a new, not sitcom, daytime soap opera that is coming to CBS. CBS has green lit. I don't know if it's green lit or green lighted. If we're, I think it's green lighted, but grammatically correct would be green lit. But I
Right.
think they have green lighted black led daytime drama called The
Mhm.
Gates, and it is the first in 35 years. The
Mhm.
last time they had any black led daytime soap opera drama, it was Generations, and that was 35 years ago.
Right.
So I don't know if you all remember Generations.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it coming on television, but
Mhm.
again, we were little at that time. So my
Right.
thing was, I don't care about soap operas. I would rather cartoons or Sesame Street or something else, please. Anything but this.
Okay,
Agreed.
so I have our standing viewpoint is the people who are going to watch this are how
Older.
old? Because nobody's going to sit down and watch. They're going to stream this on a device or something.
And here within lies the problem. Thank you so much for bringing up I really try to come in on a positive note. I do every week. Every week, I probably need an attitude adjustment because every week there is something that I don't know, that I just can't figure out. So let me talk a little bit about this first, and then I will get to that because that is an excellent point. So, again, it's CBS, but this is not just CBS. It is a partnership that they have with the NAACP. So it's CBS Studios and the NAACP are producing this together. The showrunner and one of the executive producers is going to be Michelle Valjean. I think it's Jean. I hope she doesn't pronounce it Jean, or I don't think she pronounces it Jean. So she actually, if you don't know her name, you will know her work. If you are a soap opera fan, she has written over 2,000 episodes for The Bold and the Beautiful and General Hospital. So you'll know her work there because 2000 is a lot of work. That's a lot of episodes. So she is going to be the showrunner, and then this is also a project together. So it's NAACP and CBS. But who do you think has an advertiser that has a stake in soap operas? I'll put it out there. What do you think? Who would that be?
Who has a stake?
Yeah,
The company or
a company. Yes, this would be an advertiser.
Procter and Gamble?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No.
Because I'm
Absolutely
like,
right.
that's how soap opera started. Was Procter and Gamble wanted to sell their soap, and they said, "Oh,
Exactly.
we'll just make a story for the women at home who were homemakers in the 50s or whatever date," and that's how it started.
Exactly.
I
And
would
it's no
think that in here in the United States, the pharmaceuticals are probably going to eat this up.
Oh my God! Can we
God of
talk
heaven.
about just for a second?
Sure.
I was because I try not to watch TV like because of the commercials, but I was watching because I like ghosts and stuff on Thursday, and I'm watching. I'm like every commercial was a doggone something was wrong with you. You need this drug. I had to turn it off. I was like, this is crazy. It was like every commercial was for an eye thing or this thing or that thing, and see your doctor and hear the side effects. I was like, I can't take it. I just turned it off. I didn't
So
even finish watching
here's
TV.
my way around that, TJ, because I like those too. So this is what I do. I have YouTube TV. I put it on DVR and I skip past the commercials.
Well, see, I have Paramount Plus.
Oh,
and
yes, I can do
I can
that.
watch it on there later, but for some reason I was like, I wanted to watch because it comes on. I want to watch it with everybody. I don't know why. I was like, I
Now,
could just watch it with Paramount, which I'm going to start doing because I was like, I had to, and then because I'm wearing earbuds, and I'm like, the songs and the commercial and it was something for manipulative eye stuff. I was like, where the fuck commercials? Where the Doritos and the
they were programming us.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just I could not finish watching the show.
Well, you know what? It's a pandemic now, right? It's an epidemic to see all these pharmaceutical commercials, particularly in the U.S. I can speak for Asia TV and a lot of Asian countries, like where my sister lives. They don't do that.
Right.
They also have
I thought it
integrative
was
medicine.
morning
so-
TV. I thought it was just the like they do it in the morning. Like I said,
No.
but they do it at night now.
They've
There is
been doing it. They do prime time.
It wasn't one. It was a bunch. It was like 10 different drugs.
If I may just say, America should be ashamed of itself. You should be ashamed that your population is so sick that they cannot exist without the use of artificial holder-uppers. Okay, you should be ashamed. Just like any mayor should be ashamed to be in charge of a city that has like a blight or has a terrible infrastructure. I wouldn't say I'm the mayor of this city.
It was so bad. I was like, I should go in and get my eyes checked out. Do I have that macular? That's how bad it was.
You mean macular
Because they
degeneration?
frame it as a question. Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling hungry?
Yes.
Are you breathing?
Yes.
Come on, people.
But see, that's why I'm like, I only have certain shows that I like, and I'm like Thursday, and I'm like now. So I have Paramount Plus. I'm just gonna stick to that.
Yeah, I like the mute button.
To watch it on the air.
Look, I like the mute button. Because I can't.
No, but see, I was watching the TV, and I was wearing Apple TV, and I was like, wait a minute, what? I was so bad. Took them. I was like, what is going on? That cannot be. Where's the Applebee commercial? Where's the Happy Family going to the park commercial with the kids at the park? It was all some kind of disease.
Well,
and
that family, that Happy Family now has COPD, and they're on. Yeah,
like, I don't want to know about these things. That was just my little rant. I'm sorry.
They're at home taking.
But it's a good reminder that the television program is trying to program us to be dependent on pharmaceuticals.
And I thought it was just the morning. In the morning when I watched the morning news, it's all the ones were singing and dancing about Guardia. The lady just the song is in my head because the lady is dancing and singing about Guardia or something. But the nighttime ones are like dreadful. The daytime ones are like they have a cute song.
But they all
which is even worse. Which is even worse.
Yeah.
So I think we have to remember also the way that media works. And I say this every time, and I think we all know, but just for the benefit of anyone who is just kind of hearing this for the first time, media, whether it's newspaper, whether it's radio, whether it's online, whether it's social media, it works because of advertising. A little less so with some social media, but it's still a huge presence. And so when you talk about the old concept was the news hole, which is still kind of there. And the news hole is all the room that is left for the stories after they place the advertisements in newspaper. So that tells you that it is advertising and money first, because that's what pays for media. And so basically these shows kind of like with soap operas, right? Soap operas
Yeah.
were just a placeholder for the
Fucking
upcoming
sell the soap.
commercials, right?
Sell the
For the soap,
Yeah.
right? So
Mhm.
you can, if you think about it that way, I mean, it's not really so much that people
Mhm.
actually do try to come up with engaging content, but that
Mhm.
content doesn't fly unless there are advertisers.
Right.
So
And I know that it's just that it was such a shock for me because I don't really watch over the air TV because with the streaming. And the streaming is like, okay, you like Fran said, you mute, you scroll. It was just like I couldn't get away from it. So I just stopped. And I'm just like, I forgot how bad it was. Because that's why I stopped in the first place.
well, that's why so many of us are
Now,
like saying, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis, for network TV because
Right.
nobody wants to be bothered with that
I
type
had
of
no
stuff.
control. I had no control over it, and it made me angry. So I'm like, I'm thinking of the people that are just used to that, and it's just in their head, and they're like Fran said, most people mute or get up and go, but the people that are just that played in their head, oh my god, how did they go to bed?
they get
Without
up in the
thinking
morning and
something's
call their
wrong.
doctor.
Yeah,
Right.
call your. They all say call your doctor because they want to sell that drug. That
Ask
was
your
my
doctor
rant.
about.
That was my rant. I'm sorry.
No, I get it. I completely get it. I mean, but it's even bad. You know, we see it on television, but
Mhm.
go to the doctor. On any given day you've been to the doctor, tell me you've never been there when pharmaceutical reps are coming in. They
Oh
come
my
in and
god, they're
out
there
all
all
day.
the time.
They're there all the time. So if you're not getting it from your media, you're getting it from your doctor because let's be honest, many of them, unless they're holistic doctors, they are getting kickbacks from these. And we don't want to make this a whole pharmaceutical industry evil panel, but if the needle fits anyway.
This is why I
No.
watched when 2016 came. I cut off TV and I moved to YouTube. Not to say that YouTube has its ads and stuff, but at least you know you can scan
You
and
can
block
pay
it
for
or
it, and
what. Yeah,
you can pay for it and eliminate the ads.
right.
The my mother-in-law took her to her eye doctor or something, and we're sitting there waiting on the doctor, and in walks the pharmaceutical rep with her pencil skirt and da 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 da. Hey, we
Yeah,
have some new samples for you. I'm like, you don't even have a degree in medicine.
you're just a salesperson.
And you are so right. They are always wearing pencil skirts. I think that
Yeah,
I think
it's a
that is
certain
the
look.
uniform.
They have a certain look. Yes. So
Well,
I'm sorry for taking this little rant, but it was just when we
no
started talking about
problem. No
so
problem.
we
No
talk about
problem.
and I know all of that because I was in ad world. I know what they're doing. It's just
Right.
that I forgot because I took myself out of network TV. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I see why I stay out of this forest.
You forget. Yeah, absolutely. Well,
So,
to Fran's question now, who is this for? Or
mhm.
who asked for this? Let's take a look at this. And this is where it's a little bit concerning. Now, had you said maybe 10 years ago that they were what was 10 years ago? What year is this?
20,
So
20
2014. Right?
2014.
Had you said in 2014, like maybe even back to 2010, between 2010 and 2014, that we are for the first time in 25 years going to debut a black-led family. Oh, let me tell you about the family first. The name of the show is called The Gates, and it is about a wealthy black family that lives in an exclusive gated community. So we don't know where it's going to take place. We don't know what time period it's supposed to take place. We don't know when the actual debut date will be. We know it's January 2025, so January of next year, but we don't know the exact details. I'm putting in my betting card for Atlanta. I bet it's going to be Atlanta.
Will it have something to do with us doing something illegal to get the money?
I don't think so.
No, isn't this supposed to be about a wealthy family or something?
Mhm.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with what the script says.
Oh.
Well, and
You know how
you
they
know,
script us.
yeah, because if you think about it, all we have to do is look at, because there have been other black-led drama, because if we look at, let's talk about Power, let's talk about Empire. Those are, for all intents and purposes, evening soaps, right? But
Yes.
look at what they were doing. Yeah, they were black-led, but they got their money through ill-gotten means. So that's a valid concern. But I really don't think that it's going to be. Somehow, I think this time it will be different. We'll see, especially because the NAACP is involved. Remember, they're not going to stand for anything that is going to be tarnishing of the Black image. And so, yeah, it wouldn't fly for there to be like a drug dealer or a gambler or something, a gambling ring. That probably wouldn't fly if I know the NAACP like I know them.
Well, when they called it the gates, my first thought was not the gated community.
It was the gates of hell. Well, yeah, somebody didn't come up with a good, because yeah, gated community. I would have called it gated.
Yeah. But see, that just tells you right there where the headspace is. Because I'm like, if this thing ain't on TikTok, it's not flying nowhere. So
Well, and so, well, here's that's a very valid point as well. So let's look at, who is this for? So again, they're trying to recapture the days of old, in the heyday of soap operas, because there are only three and a half left on the air. 3 left on the air and 1 is on a streamer. So Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, and General Hospital are the only 3 that are still on network television. And Days of Our Lives is still on, but it is on Peacock
right.
only. So those are the ones that exist. Down from how many thousands it feels like that used to be around, like in the 70s and the 80s, I would say was really the heyday of the soap opera. That was the golden age of soap operas. So we're not looking at the people that will be attracted to this are people that are already attracted to soap operas. Okay, this X's me out because I couldn't stand them when I was little. I can't stand them now. They're not for me. Some people love their quote stories. I never did, which is why I never got attracted to some evening type of shows like Dallas and Dynasty and whatever, because it's just an evening version of the daytime thing. So that didn't appeal to me.
Oh, Dynasty. Ooh. That was good.
Or the
Diane
Colbys,
Carroll and
or Dallas.
Joan Collins and what's her name fighting? Oh, that was good.
That was the scripted reality show.
Right, it's scripted reality, and it was the biggest talk when the was it Crystal and Joan Collins fought, and they ripped and threw each other in the pool. It was a talk. It was talk. It was like the talk of the the reality of it. So
absolutely. I mean, along with they still talk about the Who Shot JR thing from Dallas. So it was a huge part of popular culture history and still remains to be
right. But it's not that way anymore. Like you're saying, it's that those kind of TV viewing habits don't exist.
They don't.
We got other stuff we can watch now.
Must see TV is not a thing. Thursday night, Cosby, blah blah blah, different world. That it was because if you didn't watch it, then you missed it unless you had a but now we have different viewing habits. And then I said Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they're not going to be interested in this.
No, well, and see, this is, you brought up different world. I'm going to bring this into the conversation in just a moment, because it's all really relevant. So when we look at who is this for, the population of people that would be attracted, first of all, CBS skews older, way older than the other networks. I think if I look this up, they will reveal that they have the oldest viewing audience out of the 4 networks. Yeah, I think it's only out of the 4, because ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox. Yeah, so they have the oldest viewing or the audience that skews older, and there's nothing wrong with that. But because at some point older people are not around forever, right? And what you need for something to be salient is for younger viewers to take their place, and they're not, because as you all have mentioned, we have a lot of competition. There are other types of content and other places we can consume it without being bothered with ask your doctor about Duck Covey. We don't have to be bothered with it. We could do, get it on YouTube, TikTok, any of these other places. And so even if the storyline is great, even if it's compelling, unless you have a strong social component, this is not something that is going to fly with younger viewers. Because here's another thing. I can't pick up CBS over the air because I'm not paying for it. So I can't pick up CBS over the air because I can sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. And I think it's because it's like all the way in Doral, which like takes an hour or whatever to get to from here. So it's like South Miami, or South and West Miami. So I can't pick it up. We don't have it as, it's not carried on Sling, and I have Sling. I get NBC, but I don't get CBS. And so what I have learned to do is I don't miss the shows that I can't watch. First of all, I don't really watch CBS, but I don't miss it anyway because I can't get it. So that's to say that even with, if you have a streamer like with live TV, like a YouTube TV or whatever, that doesn't necessarily guarantee you'll be able to see it, because if in that market they don't have carriage rights, you're not going to be able to see it anyway. So there's a whole lot of things between the fact of younger viewers are not watching CBS. Younger viewers then therefore are not replacing older viewers. You may get some nostalgia with older viewers who likes soap operas, right? We don't even know the storyline or any of these things. If there is not a strong social presence and a way to draw young people in, they're not going to look for it anyway. And you may not be able to pick it up on the streamers because so many of us are cord cutters now. And some young people were cord nevers, meaning they never owned a TV.
And never will. Some of them don't care.
Exactly.
They don't own a TV. We talked about that. Yeah.
We did. It's only recently that I got TVs again because my one broke, and I was like, oh well, I have my computer and my phone,
and the thing is, once you stop watching it, you don't really miss it. Like I said, I only have a few shows that I like, and then the TV is off.
Exactly. So,
but my thing to CBS is why do you want to do this? And I know why they want younger viewers, but younger viewers don't watch soap operas.
Right, and I think this is also a push by the NAACP to see more representation in television, particularly. I mean, the fact that you can say in 35 years you have not had a Black-led soap opera. I mean, it's neither here. There's only 3 left on the air anyway. So no. Well,
we got Real Housewives of Atlanta and all that other stuff.
Older people may have watched it, but I mean, the times have really, really shifted. And so this is my fear for it. And what I don't want, excuse me, is for the blame to be on the onus of, oh, well, people didn't watch it. And so that's why we canceled it. Well, did you look at the media landscape before you proposed such a project to see if we were going to watch it anyway? So that's what I don't want, because it's going to be very easy to blame, oh, well, the viewers weren't interested. Or what viewers? Everybody's at work.
Because when I heard this story, and I was like, what year is it? Is this 1989? 90 something? Who's watching a soap? I was like, soaps? Those things are still on? That's what my first thought was.
Listen, and media is my thing, and I had to go and look to see. I said, these things are still on. I had to go and look and see.
I didn't know they were still on either. I was like,
I knew that the Days of Online moved to Peacock because I remember her in the story, and there was a talk about, oh, the older folks don't have Peacock, and how are they going? I was like, well, the grandkids show them how to get the Peacock.
If it's that important to them, somebody who wants something will find a way to get it. So if Days of Our Lives is that important to the viewer, they will follow, because it's less about, we say this with social media, it is not about the platform. Here's the crux of the argument, okay? It is not about the platform, it is about the people. So if people are really connected to the show, to the actors, they will follow the show and the actors wherever it goes.
They will find it.
So
They won't
that's
find it.
neither here nor there.
Mhm.
Grandmama and them will be fine with Peacock. Somebody will show them how to use it. It's interesting though, but that's what's
I'm
going on
just
with the gates.
like, okay, why? Okay. So on the other side of this, I'll say yes, make the gate, but put it on BET Plus or something. I'm not
No,
saying the subject gated. It's just that because there are shows there already
but
that
no, you're
would
right.
you would
But
get more of a viewership.
BET is a thorn in America's side. It has
Yes,
the
I agree.
absolute worst program. Okay, no
Well, I
offense.
want to watch the now. Kevin on Stage has his
Right,
churchy
churchy
show.
is
I want to
good.
see that.
Churchy is good, but see,
It's
this is the
good.
thing. That's something that is not contrived. Church, he already comes with a built-in audience. He
Okay.
has a following of on all platforms. I can't even add it
Yes.
up, but he has a
Yes.
huge following. He's a stand-up comedian. On top of that, he's built a huge social media following, and this is where it's going, where these networks, these channels are looking to people that already have a following because the expectation is they're going to bring their following with them to this. So people already loved Churchy from his own app. So now that it's just on a bigger thing, I can
Got it.
see that. And
Okay.
also, let's talk about Black people. Black people love TV.
Yeah.
And they see TV as the only salient way. We're the first, we're the ones that'll be like, oh, it's just social media. Black people, blacks, okay? Everybody, other people are looking at now. It's not on. We do use social media, but we value TV more because we think it's a bigger platform, and there are too many of us that are in it for the clout of being seen, not realizing more people are watching Club Shay Shay than tune in to certain shows, right? We don't see it yet, and
They
we don't
still
get it, and
watching
that
that
will be
cat
the
thing.
death. I'm
They're
sorry.
still
Go
watching
ahead.
They're still watching that Cat Williams episode. That thing is just like, I think it's like 70 yeah, that thing is exploding. And you're right. It's like you're attached to the TV because and you remember there was a thing. Oh, Black people on TV. You would call everybody. Oh, Black people on TV. So it's still got that kind of cachet with us, but with me, I'm just like, okay, I don't want to watch it. I want good content wherever it is. I don't care.
Right. And perhaps they should move this to YouTube. Have a YouTube channel or something like the NAACP YouTube channel. Maybe somebody will go over. Do they even have a YouTube channel?
Why are they sticking to TV? What is the stickiness of TV?
Because they think that they are still in 1979.
Yes, they think it's important. I mean, CBS thinks it's salient. Can we just let that sink in? CBS thinks that they have some importance, and this is not a diss to them, and I'm not trying to be rude, but
it's the truth.
Who watches CBS? What shows do you have that really dictate that I leave and leave my comfort of my YouTube and try and use bunny ear? Well, I don't have bunny ears, but I have an antenna. Use my antenna.
Yeah, you stick it. Yeah.
And find a spot that it works, that I could. That's too much effort and too much energy. I'd rather not.
This is why I love to talk about, okay, what is Gen Z watching? YouTube. What is the popular this, that, what are they doing by age and whatever? So CBS knows that they skew older, 55 and up or whatever. They know that, but they don't like that because advertisers love 18 to 34. So CBS is like, okay, we got to get our younger viewership up. How do we do it? Oh, I know. We'll get a Black soap opera on TV, which young kids don't watch TV. They watch on this. I have so many TVs. My daughter will not watch a TV. She will not watch TV. She will watch on her phone.
This is like the government trying to regulate something they don't know nothing about.
You have to look at the facts, and like Dr. Tati said about, it's not being harsh, or it's factual, it's true. Look at the numbers. The numbers tell you where to go, CBS. If you want younger viewers, they're not watching TV. They don't own a TV. They don't want to own a TV. They don't want to. They can't afford a TV.
didn't we just see an article about how a chain of hotels is making it easier to stream from your phone to the
Really?
TV in the room?
Yes. They put AirPlay, they put the Apple AirPlay in their system so that you
And you
can
just skip all of that.
I understand that,
you can
but
just
I got a Gen Z. They don't want TV. I
right, but
one,
I'm
two,
just
three.
saying, I'm just saying,
Don't watch.
even older guests want to see
Right.
if they want
Yeah,
to see
so that works for that works for
on
older
their
guests.
phone
I
up
want to
on a
watch.
bigger screen. They just
Right,
want a bigger.
right.
It's a monitor now.
Right.
It's not,
But what I'm saying is that CBS wants younger viewers, but they're doing things that they're appeasing to the older viewer,
then
which they
maybe they
already
should
got them.
ask younger viewers what they want in terms of
They're
content.
They're
not.
not
They
going to
don't
do that.
care.
okay,
They
did
don't- they
ask
don't
you.
care.
Okay, I'm gonna say it this way: the 99-year-olds ask the 79-year-olds what they want.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry. We stand corrected. Sorry. You did. They did ask
That's probably
younger
real.
view, and younger is relative.
They
You
asked
are
the
correct.
79-year-old what they want. I'm just saying
Yes, it is
because
relative.
we're in media, we're in advertise, and I'm just saying that they want younger. Because that's what advertisers want. Advertisers want younger. They don't want older anything, even though that's what they say, the money is there, but they don't want that. They want 18 to 34. They love to stay in that little group. See, and they look at CBS and going, well, you guys are 55 and up. We don't want, what are we going to advertise, Geritol or
Well,
whatever the
you,
thing
you
is?
know, but here's the little thing that could be a glimmer of hope for them. When we
Mhm.
look at, and you know this very well, Fran, in terms of the real estate and who's buying, right? Who's
Mhm.
buying?
Mhm.
It's general. I just looked the other day, and generally it is not the silent generation that is
No,
buying.
no,
Of course, it's not Gen Alpha.
no.
The first that's buying, it's millennials, then
Mhm.
boomers, then Gen X, because they always forget about Gen X for some reason. They're like,
Yeah.
hell with Gen X. But those are the three that are doing it. Now, okay, so we talk about Gen Z. They're coming of age where they're going to be, should buy, but are they
Mhm.
going to be able to? We're looking at this economy, and they're not going to be able to come up with unless they're coming from means, but they're not going to be able
Mhm.
to come up with the ridiculous numbers that these banks are expecting them to
Right.
have down unless they
Right.
qualify for programs. I don't have to
Mhm.
tell you that some of these programs, depending on what happens politically, may go away.
Right.
There's a lot that is happening there. So if
Right.
we're looking at that, what does that tell you? Gen Z doesn't have the money we think Gen Z has. And I've seen this all the time. You're going after that coveted 18 to 34 and because it's an image thing, because we're obsessed with youth. But if we look at it, they don't really have the money to do X, Y. They don't have that disposable income, etc. Unless most of them are still probably living with parents, which makes you think they do. But whenever they do these surveys, I'm always like, well, I'm sorry, which population did you survey? Wichita, Kansas, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Where did you survey these people? Because I guarantee that if you look like when they talk about, for example, teens and like teens and cell phones
Mhm.
or whatever,
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, yeah, mobile phones are ubiquitous for the most part, but then there are still some people who don't and can't have access to some of these things because of their situations. And so you used the strongest among us and generalize it to the entire population. So that's why I look at you can't just look at the results. You have to look at who did they ask, because it may
Mhm.
not be generalizable to the entire population.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is going to be interesting to watch. The glimmer of hope here for them is that they will capture onto a generation that actually has money, and advertisers will see this and throw behind. Now, what they're going to have to let go of is the ridiculous numbers that were the standard for the 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s before we had other choices and other places to watch. Yeah, you're going to get 14 million people watching one thing because there's nothing else to watch, nowhere else. It's the same thing when you got all those numbers when the networks, the big three, and then soon four were the thing. Yeah, because there's nothing else to watch. Before the days of cable, yes, there's nothing else to watch. Of course, you're getting 15 million per show because that's all there is to watch. So anything that is peanuts is going to taste like steak if that's all you have. And that's no disrespect to any of the shows or whatever, but it would be interesting to see and it is interesting to see in this day and age things that would have played well and are really strong or would have been really strong back then. Now that you have competition not only from other shows and cable, but streamers, UGC, user generated content, all of that, you have competition. How good is your product now up against everybody else? It was the bomb when it was just you, but now there's everybody else here. How strong are you really? And so I think that is the big questions with this. How strong are you really going to be in this age of content competition?
There you go.
They will have to try and pull people away from the housewives, the Married to Medicine, and all of them. They're going to have to try and pull eyeballs from there over to where they are, and they're putting it behind a wall. I'm going to say by putting it over on CBS. The housewives and everything else are on YouTube. They're streaming on Bravo and and Peacock and whatever. But you're trying to get people to come and sit in front of a box. That's
they're trying to get people to come to their house, and we're like, no, that's the old lady house on the corner. No thanks.
And we have to think about this there. We have been. Here's another thing that could work from them. It's not fantasy, but it is scripted, so it can take you out of the world of what's already there. However, we become so used to a world of reality since 2007 with the first writer's strike. Well, the first in a while writer's strike, and that's really what made reality pop off. When you're watching The Housewives, even though a lot of it is kind of contrived, they've built up this persona of them having money, going on these lavish trips, doing these things. They're branded, right? But they're also real people. Candy Burris plays Candy Burris, and this is what she supposedly does, right? This is how she supposedly. So it's not like, oh, such and such is playing a rich person or whatever. So you identify with the fact that this is, quote, real, even though there's contrived situations.
They made up scenario
as real. And so you're going to be able to identify with that and identify with it in a way that this could possibly be you. And how do you get a piece of that? You buy her bedroom candy. You buy She Buy Sheree. You buy all of these things that these women have done, and so that you too can get a piece of that. You feel like you are part of that. You can't do that with a scripted television show.
Because that's not the kind of content that gets people going today. Like we were saying about how did the soap opera come about? The different world of 50s, the housewife at home, she got nothing to do. Today it's a different, the world is different. People do things differently. So that's what I'm saying. CBS mindset is not in the right spot of we needed you, and Meta's was in the spot too. They need younger people to come and use. How do we do? You're not giving the mouse the cheese. You're giving it a celery stick, and the mouse is like, what the hell is that?
Who asked for that?
Who with celery? Where's the cheese or whatever the mouse like? That's what I mean. They want something, but they're putting out the wrong bait.
Exactly.
Not happening. So
That's exactly the thing. And to the point now of really quickly with you brought up A Different World. We love A Different World was like one of my favorites.
oh
It has such nostalgia, and you know that the cast of Different World is doing a tour now of
yeah.
HBCUs, and so
Mhm.
they were at my alma mater, Howard. They've been doing
Mhm.
a lot of really great things because they were really the ones that said this is who you can be and this is what you can
Right.
do, and we identified with that, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But there's a lot of talk of people wanting, oh, bring back A Different World, and I could
No.
see how that would work. I would be one
No.
for a reboot, but would that work in this day and age? How do you can't just simply, it's not going to be NBC and now you're on. How would that work in this day and
No.
age? I see how you can
I
make it work,
I
but
see you, but I had this discussion with somebody. I said, don't touch the original as it's canon, but look at the children of.
right,
But
exactly,
then
a
who would
reboot.
want to watch that? Would the people that love The Different World, would they want to watch the children of Dwayne Wade and Whitney? Would
Yeah,
they?
they would. We
Okay.
absolutely would. I mean, I
So
already said, Kevin and I were like, Zoe Kravitz should totally
mhm.
come back and be,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. But
So,
see, that's what they would have to do. But these people that want to do the reboots, they always want to take the original and tweak it. Don't take the original. It has to be the children of, or it has to be the continuing story of. That's what I
exactly. All you have
mean.
to do is
No.
look at Degrassi.
Mhm.
Degrassi, the next generation of the things they
I've
did with
never watched that.
Degrassi.
Is
Oh,
that the thing about the Canadian, the kid
yeah,
in
that's about a
Canada thing?
Canadian school.
Okay.
Drake was on it. That's how he
Mhm.
got his claim to fame. But I've been watching Degrassi since I was little. It started with the
Mhm.
kids of Degrassi Street, then became Degrassi Junior High, then became
Uh-huh.
Degrassi High, then became
Mhm.
Degrassi The Next Generation, and now it's just Degrassi. So there are 5 iterations of Degrassi that I have been used to, and with some of them, the ones who were in Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High have
Mhm.
some have come back and been now teachers at Degrassi. Some have students that are children that go
Right.
to Degrassi. So
Right.
they've been able to do that. So that you could do something similar with A Different World and
Yes, you have to
possibly have it
progress the
work.
story. Mhm.
But how are you going to draw these people in? First of all, you have us, those of us that grew up with A Different World, but how are you going to draw in these other people? How do you
Well,
draw
that's what
them
I was
in?
saying. If they want Gen Z, it would have the children are Gen Z. So it would
Right,
have
but
to be
where
from
are they
their
watching it? It can't be
Oh,
on
it's
an
on,
NBC.
it won't
Oh,
be
you saying
on.
it would be on Peacock? It would have to be on TikTok, Tubi. It would have to be someplace like that where they're watching.
Right, where they can stream that.
YouTube.
They're not gonna be able to put that on TV.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Because only
Absolutely.
we will watch on TV. The Gen Z kids is like TV. And even if they have a TV available to them, they're not watching it.
No,
And
because one, you have to maneuver how to watch a television now. When you turn it on, it's like, okay, wait, where do I go?
And the
And what
new
but
TVs are like, and then Dr. Taki thought the new TVs are very confusing.
Mm.
right,
Right?
so here's another thing, the margins for profit from something like that. Before, you were assured that you're going to get the advertisers and you're going to be able to make the advertising money from that. If you don't have it on a network television, what we have to remember is, yeah, you definitely can make money when you go the YouTube route, but the
Mhm.
margins of profit are smaller.
Right.
They are smaller. So you have to have so many more views to make up what you would traditionally get in television. But I have to tell you, those days of traditional big advertising in television, those are over, Willie Ben. Those are over.
But
Now
see, my thing, I'm sorry, but I'm looking at it as it would be everywhere, not just YouTube. That's the way I see it.
yeah,
But
no,
networks
I
don't see
understand
it.
that. I
Right.
understand that. But then
They don't
again,
see it that way.
they don't. You have
Mhm.
to see it. You have to see it that way. But again, we're
Mhm.
talking about an old guard
Yes.
advertising
Mhm. Mhm.
method that
Mhm.
does not look at any place but the traditional media for their things, and they
Right.
may or may not see the value in gathering community. Because again, here's the thing: you can't just put your stuff on as somebody that's now an owner of an OTT. I understand this. You can't just put stuff on social media and sit it there and think people are going to watch. You have to engage with them. It is a community. You are forming a community. The moment you put something on any social channel, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook, whether you are broadcasting on Instagram, whatever the case may be, if you just sit it there, nobody's going to watch. You have to be there and engage and form a community. That is what it's about. It's almost like live streaming, basically. Even though it's pre-recorded, you can't just sit it there. Most people are not going to,
It's not
just
set
sit
and
there and
forget
watch.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a set it and forget it. So that's another thing. That's what they don't want to do, because remember, social media is transactional, it's interactive. That's not what you get with traditional linear TV, and that's the way they like it, because they don't have to do very much but put it on TV and let it run and get advertisers. Well, guess what? There are so many more eyes that they're competing for now, because younger people don't want to come over to TV. So now we have to go to them. The margins are smaller. But we need them because we want them to see our product. So it's
If
just
it ain't
it's a
on
very
TikTok, they're not gonna.
discombobulated world now. It is not the same like it was. And I keep saying this, everybody in the industry is going to have to get used to making less in terms of their in terms of margins. It got inflated to a point because owners were greedy and they wanted to have billions and trillions of earnings per year. But in order to be salient, in order to be profitable, does it have to be that? It does not. And I'm not saying don't reach for the moon and don't make as much. I'm not saying that at all. But because everything has, and this is the owners that are making this, it's not the people working there.
Yeah,
that
the
are
owners.
making
Yeah,
this.
the decision makers, the one that's
Correct. And also the shareholders, if they are publicly traded company.
Yep.
So, well, that's from the gates to this. It opened up the gates of hell, I guess. But
well, I mean, it's I don't know. We'll the jury's out. I'll see. We'll see. We'll see
I
what
want to see if
happens.
it even makes it.
You know what? I don't want it not to make it. I do want it to make it, but the strategy that I see now is just like, okay, that's nice.
If this thing ain't on TikTok, like clips or talking, or there's not a conversation on TikTok happening, it is dead in the water. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. Because I use the Risa Tisa example for everything going forward now. Like the conversations happen there, and then mainstream media picked it up from TikTok, from the conversation, and the Twitter and Black Twitter. I'll give
and
them
see,
their
but
thing.
that's their MO. The only time it gets to CBS Good Morning or whoever, ABC Good Morning, is because it was on TikTok.
Right.
Or
Same
it
thing
was
with
on
Keith Lee. Yeah, Keith Lee was on CBS Mornings last week or something.
But see, this was after he had been on Kevon Stage's podcast. After the traditional media gets to it 10 million years later.
We're like,
10 million years later, Keith Lee has been a thing. And because you don't follow TikTok, and here's the thing, I will say, I know they all try to have a presence in these different places, and they all do that. But it's like, is it out of obligation or because you really are trying to build a community? Remember, social media is about building a community, not selling your stuff, selling your shows. You want to build a community around your shows. What you do want is where the viewers have such a strong opinion that they're like, what happened to such and such? Why is such? You want that.
Yes.
You want that because that means they are invested in your product, which is your show.
Yes.
But they wait until it's like, okay, I'm going to tell on myself. I thought Crocs were the ugliest shoes on the planet until I bought a pair. And they're still ugly, but are they comfortable?
Yeah.
How long has Crocs been out? Forever. when did I just get a pair? Last week?
So you about to make me go run and get it. I was like, I don't want those
See,
things.
I have Crocs rain boots. They're not as ugly as the
Oh.
regular Crocs,
Okay.
and they're comfortable.
They're very
So,
comfortable.
I like comfort.
I'm just
Exactly.
saying.
So that's that's a good point, because what CBS is going to have to do is figure out, these are people that think CBS is ugly,
Mm-hmm.
but
Old.
ugly, like
Not
that
cool.
raggedy 1980s chair,
Not cool.
not cool. Yeah, Bravo is sexy. CBS is not.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. And so what I meant by the Crocs situation was it took me a long time to actually get to Crocs. That's what the network TVs do. The Crocs is a big thing out there, and they just now get into it when it's been out. Just like with Kev, what is his name?
Keith Lee.
Yeah,
Kev
Keith
on?
Lee.
Kev on stage or Keith Lee?
Kev on stage, Keith Lee, Risa Tisa, all of them were big and hit big first, and then they come in last on the bus. Oh, we need to get them on too. No, somebody should have been forward thinking a long time ago.
Well, but here's the thing, they don't have to be. And I can see this is probably all we're going to talk about today, but they don't have to be, because remember, we have given them the power of, you've made it once you've gotten on television.
Oh.
So they can sit back and do nothing and watch TikTok, watch Instagram, watch YouTube. And when they blow up, and then, oh, well, let's bring them on, because they think they're always going to have that, what's the name? And some of us have ascribed to that and say, oh, did you see such and such was on the morning show. Now they've made it. No, they've always made it.
Yeah. They already made it.
That's us too. We've given them that power. So we have to realize that we have more power than we think when it comes to media and what is important and what they put on. We think we don't have any power, but we're the ones who watch and we keep it on. It's TV at this point is not, quote, cool, but there's a whole industry that's running that's predicated on, this is the place to be.
Agreed. Because see, media is cool. It's just, okay, TV's not cool. It's that outlet is not cool. What's cool now? TikTok, streaming that. So that's it. But the core of it is still, content is necessary for all of this to keep going.
Exactly. Okay, well, let me give one more story, and then we will I'll let us go. Let's talk about, since we were talking Netflix, or we had talked Netflix, Netflix has added 9.3 million subscribers this quarter, and they're growing their lead in streaming. Are we surprised? They reported a revenue of 9.4 billion and an operating income of 2.6 billion, and that's up substantially from last year. And this first quarter earnings call was Thursday. Why do I keep missing these calls? They keep sending stuff, because if you have a little bit of Netflix stock, which I think most people do, a lot of people do, you're allowed to go to these things, and they send you things, and I just keep forgetting. But anyway, it's interesting that they are growing. The company now has 269.6 million global subscribers. They said they're also going to stop reporting subscriber numbers and average revenue per member beginning in the first quarter of next year. That's interesting. For quarter two, they're expecting their revenue growth to be at 16%, with lower paid net additions due to seasonality. So, season, whatever. It's warm outside for most people. They're going to be out. So that could be the thing. So that's with that. But there was one other Netflix thing that is connected. Let's talk about what these people are making. So last year, Netflix's executive pay, Ted Sarandos, dipped a little bit to 49.8 million. And Ted Sarandos is the CEO, co-CEO of Netflix. Greg Peters tops at 40 million. So he was at 50.29 million in 2022. So he dipped a little bit by like 1 million. All right. So this is what the compensation package included: a $3 million base salary, 28.3 million in option awards, 16.5 million in non-equity incentive plan compensation, and 1.98 million in quote other compensation, including 13,200 in company matching contributions to his 401k plan, 55 thousand for car services, 620,000 for his personal use of company aircraft, and 1.3 million in residential security costs. Good for him.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Yes,
What we
we
gonna
have.
do about it?
Yeah, and there's other it's like whatever, that's fine. I have the issue is though, we're just coming off of, and I'm not expecting people to take massive pay cuts, but we're just coming off of strikes, right? Where this was the big issue. You can't do XYZ, yet this is your what's the name, all of this. So interesting. So went along with the Netflix story, so I thought I'd report it, and that's what I have for you today.
Hmm. Everything is in media is very interesting, as we have said before. I'm like, wow, lots
It's
to think
Absolutely.
about. And here's the thing: maybe they run that soap opera on Netflix. Okay, but
Yeah, as well. We'll see. I don't know what other see because well one other story I had, Paramount, Paramount is being sold, okay? So
oh,
yeah, so Sony has their hat in the ring for that. Now, we remember who else is Paramount, even though these are probably different divisions, CBS. So
mhm.
there's a lot going on there, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because I thought Tyler Perry and somebody else was in the running for that too, and they decided, nah, we're not gonna sell it. But now y'all talking Sony.
No, it was the guy who owns the Weather Channel, wasn't it?
Yeah, him and
Byron Allen?
Tyler and Byron was
Byron,
up.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
gonna be really interesting.
Yeah, yes. Byron Allen has his hat in the ring as well as Sony. Byron Allen is just is trying to grow his empire. I'm not mad at him.
I'm
I'm not
not either.
either.
I'm happy for him.
Absolutely.
He's doing it quietly too, but not this. Yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Tachi. I enjoyed. I turned. I got a Roku TV, so I added Indie Soup Media to my apps on Roku TV. I was like, oh, I know somebody who has something on it on Roku. Let me go over there. So
Yes. Going well. We actually have grown a lot on YouTube.
Oh, good.
We're up. We're almost at 4,000 subscribers now at YouTube. It like keeps going up like by 500 a day. It's interesting.
Yes.
but it's good because people can get to YouTube quickly. You know what I mean? YouTube has removed barriers. You ain't got to try and figure out how to negotiate the TV or anything. You can just go youtube.com, type in what you're looking for. Ta-da!
And that's why I'm really excited about that, and looking at strategy wise, YouTube is really definitely a place to be, because you can get, and even when I look at when people are watching shows, a lot of the people that are vocal are gathered on YouTube, so that says something.
Yeah, but I'm glad to see that it's working out for you. You took the bold step to do it, and we are applauding you. Okay, where's the?
Oh, here we go.
Were they gonna fall today?
No, they're gonna come through. Come on.
There we go. Yay! Thank you for the applause.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm the young lady talking about fashion and stuff. I was like, oh, she's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of great stuff, and then I'm always excited about every day, but Fridays for some reason is the day a lot of people gather. So tonight, starting at 6, There's going to be a lot of great content. We have the reality show 313 versus everybody.
Oh, I saw little bits and pieces of that. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, and that's the thing about doing these kinds of things ourselves, because there are people that have some great content and great ideas that would never be able to be on a CBS.
But this is good stuff. We want to thank you. Now, you know, you can catch Dr. Tachi right here on Fridays. Media Scope coming up again on Wednesdays. And the what's the one that you're tag teaming with or you're doing the reporting for?
TKBS Pop Culture.
Right.
Sorry, Pop Gumbo.
Pop Gumbo. And then, of course, media in IndieSoupMedia.tv. Need to check it out. You can also become a part of the BizChicks community. Oh, thank you, Terry. You can become a part of the BizChicks community just simply going to bizchicks.net, or you can text biz to 33777. Just so you know, we're always here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle so that you can build a profitable business that's fun to run. And we will see you next week. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Have a great rest of your weekend.